Welcome to the QuickJack live Q&A with me, Max, and my co-host Dave. And we have a very special announcement today. Dave, what is that very special announcement that we have for them today?
The very special announcement that we have today is that you need to stay tuned through this entire stream, because at the very end, we are going to be giving you guys a promo code for the best sale that we've ever had here at QuickJack. Legitimately the best sale that we've ever had. Seriously, stay tuned. Max, how important is this sale?
We had to fight for it because, well, not really, but we kind of did. And we're never going to do it again. It's never going to happen again. This is it. It is our Black Friday sale. We're not really having an official Black Friday sale. This is it. And it is an extension of what we did over at SEMA. So stay tuned for that, and we're going to give you that at the end of the show. So thank you for joining us. I think we can kick off with some questions. Dave, did you want to get started with the first one? Or would you like me to take the first one?
I'll take it.
Okay.
All right, so the first question we have is, how long does it take to set up from the QuickJack, obviously, from storage to lift? That depends on how you store it. If you store the QuickJack under your car, or you store the QuickJack just outside your car, it's really as simple as sliding the frames under, connecting hydraulic hoses, and up you go. If you have it in a closet 2 doors down, then it's going to take you a little longer. But in all seriousness, it is pretty quick depending on how you have it stored. If you have it, I think one of the more common ways to store it is against the wall in the garage. If you're realistically taking those frames out, moving them, really you're looking at about, I'd say, what do you think, 2 minutes max?
Probably about 2 minutes. I mean, like you said, we have a video of us doing a QuickJack lift versus a jack stand lift. It's a little different, I mean, depending on, but you can see in that how long it takes to just slide them underneath the car or just pull them out from underneath the car, and that's it. So it takes a couple minutes.
It really is pretty quick.
Yep. Great. And if anybody at any time has any extra questions, please submit them and we'll answer that. And our wonderful producers behind the scenes here will let us know.
Next question.
Next question. Dead air. Is the QuickJack system stable? If you push the car sideways, will the rails fall down like dominoes since they are not attached to each other? It's a great question, and of course the answer is no. They will not fall. They will not tip. We have a video.
Yes, they are stable, though. The answer is yes, they are stable.
They are extremely stable. In fact, one of the things that we do, if you were there with us at SEMA, one of the things I always tell everybody who's never seen it before, or if they've seen it but not in person, is to give the car a push. And some people, honestly, are just kind of like, no, I don't want to do it. And then I do it, and then they see, oh my God, and then they do it, and they see how stable it is. And that's one of the best things about it. Dave, you wanted to jump in there?
Yeah, I do. I mean, a lot of us are used to lifting our cars, whether you're lifting on a 2-post lift or you're lifting on a jack and jack stands. Almost all of us, once we get our car at least a couple inches in the air, are going to go ahead and give it a shove just to make sure it's stable, no matter what we're using. And this, the QuickJack passes that test 100% of the time. As long as you are lifting properly at your jack points.
On the mechanical locks.
And you have your QuickJack locked in place on the mechanical locks. It is extremely, extremely stable, and we wouldn't want you to not test it. Just like, again, 2-post jack stands, you're always going to go ahead and give it a little shove, make sure that you're solidly in the air.
And if you want, you can check out, we have a fun video where we did a stability test for one of our coworkers, actually runs into a car that's lifted on QuickJack. It's kind of funny, but in all seriousness, it does show the stability of the system.
And he really did run into it. I think we have a question.
Yes.
We have a question from Facebook from Blake. Why do some of the pictures on your page have jack stands under the car also?
It's a good question.
It's a good question. Want me to take that one?
Yeah, go ahead, start.
There's no such thing as being too safe. So our manual does state that you should use jack stands if you're going underneath the car. And as it's perfect timing actually, we just talked about the safety and the stability of the system, but there is no reason not to put jack stands for peace of mind. Again, it's in the manual, and it's really just about being excessively safe. I think that about covers it. Unless you had another thing.
No, absolutely. It's just an extra factor of safety. A lot of people prefer to use have an extra jack stand there, again, just for peace of mind, and that's totally acceptable and encouraged.
Thank you. Great question, Blake.
Yeah, thanks, Blake. We have another question, actually.
If you guys want to keep talking on the Facebook live stream, we need to stop Instagram right now to fix a bad connection.
Okay.
Got it. Sorry about that, Instagram, Facebook, we're with you.
You can always join us on Facebook.
All right. So I guess we'll go to the next question then.
Sure, go ahead.
All right. How does it store when not in use? Max, you want to take that away?
We actually just talked about storage, how long it takes to take it out of storage. So how does it store when not in use? As long as you don't run your car wheels over the frames, you can pretty much store it any way you want. So you can store it, if it's always going to be used in your garage in the same place, push it underneath your car and you can just pull in and out in your garage as you normally would, and it'll be completely out of the way. You can store it against the wall, you can bring up some hooks and you can hook it up against the wall. There's really no way not to store it. You can throw them, they're really durable, so you can stack them on top of each other. They get out of the way pretty easily. So,
my favorite way to store them actually is to put hooks in studs in the wall in your garage, and I just hang them from the hooks. I think that is by far the easiest way to store them. It keeps them real out of the way. Again, when they're folded down there, when they're collapsed, they're 3 inches. So if you can picture just 3 inches coming off the wall, that's really not that bad. And that's my preferred way of storing them. I think that's the best. And I think Instagram is back. Is that correct?
We actually have a
cool.
Great, welcome back.
And I think we have
a video of that, don't we? Have a storage video.
We do have a
quick
storage
tip
video
on that, so we'll post that for you. And that just it's another fun video that shows just the different ways that you can store your QuickJack system.
And again, all the videos that we're talking about are going to be linked. We're going to be posting this on YouTube. There will be links in the descriptions, and we'll try and get some links out to you guys. Did we have another question?
Yeah, we do.
All right.
So this question is from Ray.
Hi, Ray.
He's a big car guy and always changing between cars. Is there one system more versatile than the other?
I think that's you're getting ahead of us.
Yeah, Ray, we have that question.
There we go.
You got it? Do you have it?
Well, so in terms of versatility, I think the BL 5000 SLX is probably the most versatile because most cars that are not an SUV or truck will be under 5,000 pounds. And if you have a long wheelbase, you can get the frame extension kit and you can extend the length of that frame without getting two systems together. So I think that's probably the most versatile, but if you are lifting a truck or an SUV, the 7000 will still fit under Miata. You can still lift most cars with the 7000. So it gives you a little more versatility, but if you're doing low cars, Corvettes or Porsches, the 5000 SLX is probably your best bet.
One thing to keep in mind is it depends on what you're lifting. Even some light trucks, like your compact trucks, mid-size trucks, not so much into the full-size realm, but most of your compact trucks, mid-size trucks, small SUVs, crossovers, all of those are going to fall under 5,000 pounds. Remember, when we're talking about weight, we're talking about curb weight, not your gross vehicle weight rating. So make sure that you're looking at the curb weight of your vehicle, because a lot of them will be under 5,000 pounds. And again, I think Max is absolutely right. The 5,000 is probably the most versatile, especially if you're using it with those frame extension adapters. It's just going to get under just about everything you've got.
And just a small note to keep in mind, if you have the frame extension, it's great. It will raise the height of QuickJack about an inch, I want to say, plus you have the rubber block on top of it, so you need a little more clearance if you're going to go that route. But for the most part, that's not an issue unless it's a very lowered car.
And another thing for the folks that are just joining us, please remember to stay tuned through this whole stream. It's not going to be too long, but we do have genuinely the best sale we've ever had coming up, and we're going to have a coupon code for you at the end. It's really important. It's going to be the best deal you're going to get on QuickJack, period, genuinely.
And it also counts, we mentioned this at the beginning, it counts as our Black Friday sale too.
Absolutely.
So there's not going to be, next week there won't be a Black Friday. This is it. Yeah. This is your Black Friday sale.
And I think we had
a good one.
I think we had another question over on Facebook.
Great, Facebook.
We have a question from Nino.
And thank you, Ray, by the way, for your question.
Nino asks, when using the QuickJack, does it have to be in one of the lock positions, or can I lower or raise the QJ at my desired height where I cannot lock it? Thank you.
That is an excellent question.
And there's one answer.
Absolutely one answer. It has to be on a mechanical safety lock. You always want to make sure that it's on a safety lock, just like a 2-post lift, a 4-post lift, just like your jack stands. You're always going to want to make sure that it's on a safety lock. Anything hydraulic, you want to make sure is locked in place.
if you go on, and we can post this link for you too.
Yeah.
If you go on our YouTube page, you'll see at SEMA I did a video on the lock system, and I kind of talked about there that there's that silver cam, and some people mistakenly think that that's the lock. It's actually not. It just helps the arms glide on and off the lock. So if you want to test that it's on the lock, what you should do is just give that little bar a kick, and it shouldn't move, and that's how you know it's locked in place.
Yeah.
Don't always just trust your eyes, because it might look like it might just not have lowered all the way if you know. So just double check it.
Bottom line, always make sure you're on a lock.
Yes.
It's just a good practice. And I think we had again, thanks for the question. I think we have another question on Facebook.
We have another question from Renz. Will
Okay.
accessories also be on sale?
We are going to
Yes.
talk about that at the end. Yes, we're going to give you all that sale information at the end of our broadcast day.
So yes, stay tuned. But I will spoil that accessories
Yeah.
will be on sale, and again, we will give you the details on the
Spoiler
sale
alert.
at the end of the stream.
Thank you for your question.
All right.
Any other questions right now? Because
No, let's go back.
throughout the week, you guys have been submitting your questions, so we have plenty. I have one here. Why would you put two rubber blocks on top of each other? And that's a great question. And it's really just to get extra clearance. So
All right. Yeah.
Right, extra height, thank you. So we have, when you get your system, it's going to come with a total of 8 blocks, 4 tall ones and 4 shorter ones. And what you can do is you can stack the shorter one on top of the taller one if you have the clearance and you want to get a little more working height. In all, you can get 20, 21 inches depending on the clearance of your car.
Yeah.
About it on that one.
Absolutely. The configuration of whether you're using the lifting blocks,
Mhm.
the ones that come with the kit, the optional truck and SUV adapters, pinch wheel blocks, you're going to get a variety of different. Ultimately, the height that you get is going to depend on your configuration of how you're setting up the QuickJack, and it's going to be all vehicle dependent on the vehicle and your setup. There's no one generic answer, but that is absolutely why you would stack them, is just to get some extra height out of the lift.
Absolutely. Thank you for that question. We got another one?
Do we have another Facebook question?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, what's up?
So this is from Nathaniel. Would you
Nathaniel.
call the QuickJack low car friendly? He's tired of jacking up the car and it being the longest part of working on it.
It's a good question. It is. I was just thinking that it depends on the height of the car. I'm thinking, do you want to jump in there?
Yeah, I do actually. And Nathaniel, that's a really good question, because that's actually another one of the questions we had
Mhm.
here today. Here's the bottom line. The bottom line is, if you're looking at a 5000 SLX model, it's 3 inches.
Mhm.
What is it? Three and a quarter inches.
The 5000 is 3, and you add the rubber block, it might come out an inch, a half inch, 3/4 of an inch. So you
Alright.
need about 4 inches there.
And I'm going to talk actually a little bit more technically about that as well. Generally speaking, low cars, yes. Race cars sometimes have a difficult time. Like if we're talking about, you have just some lowering springs on it, some coilovers or whatever. Generally speaking, you're going to be able to get underneath it. Race cars that have like serious ground effects kits, aero packages, then you might have to be up on. Some people drive up on blocks or ramps to slide the frames under. Excuse me. One other thing is depending on your car, the rockers, the side skirts. Sometimes you have the plastic piece that comes down, or fiberglass, whatever it may be, and then it goes up underneath, and then that's where your actual lift point is. So sometimes you can scoot the frame underneath without the block, then bring the block underneath, and you're still good to go. You don't have to slide the whole thing underneath as one assembly all the time. So
Yeah.
it's going to be car specific. If you have, like I said, body kit or anything like that, then yeah, the lowered cars may become an issue. But the simple remedy is to just drive up on some blocks or ramps and then slide underneath.
Absolutely. Thank you for the question. Any more? Then we'll return to our batch. I got one right here. Can you rotate the lift perpendicular to the car if the car has offset jack mounts? And the answer is yes, sometimes you can. We have a video on this, and so I'd encourage you to check that out. We did it with a BMW. What was the model BMW?
It was a BMW Z3.
Z3. And And we use that car because it has a close to a 50-50 weight distribution, which is really important because you're sort of modifying the intended purpose, and as long as that weight is still evenly distributed, it's going to lift pretty evenly, or will lift very evenly. I wouldn't do it with a larger truck, and most times you wouldn't need to. One of the nice things about that, though, is actually, what I want to say is we used to have the Porsche 911s were a little too short in the wheelbase, and we redesigned the BL 5000 SLX to accommodate those. So for the most part, that problem we don't encounter as much anymore because of that.
Yeah.
So check out that video.
Again,
yeah.
The thing to look out for is it a roadster, 50-50 weight distribution, something close to it.
Mm-hmm.
Most of your smaller sports cars, things like that, will be just fine. If anything is too front or rear heavy, we don't recommend using that configuration, but it's definitely an option for those that have the right equipment.
Absolutely. And I think we have another question.
Another question, yeah.
Arwell Jones asks, why is there only a 12-volt option in the UK, not 240 volt? I guess.
We do have a 240 volt. And so when you order your system, you have the choice of a 110, a 12 volt, or a 220 in the US. And we do have international voltages, the 240 too. So I guess the answer is you do have that option.
You do have the option. If for some reason it's not coming up, please feel free to contact us, and we can make sure to get you set up with the right equipment.
On QuickJack.com, if you go under parts, I believe, you should see all the power units, and the 240 is, and they're all the same cost when you order, so it's not a surcharge for that. That's it.
All right.
Thank you, Orwell. Question, Instagram.
Actually, we're gonna have to end the Instagram live stream. We're having really bad internet problems, so
Okay.
we'll have to let them know.
If you guys can jump on, is it on right now?
Yeah.
If you guys can jump over to Facebook, you can continue watching. Sorry about the technical problems.
Yeah, Instagram, if you guys can jump over, definitely jump over to Facebook if you can.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry that we've got some tech issues over there, but hopefully you can make it over on Facebook.
Absolutely. And you had another question for us?
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is a really common question actually, and a really important one. Is the QuickJack hydraulic or pneumatic? And the answer is, it is hydraulic. More specifically, it's electric over hydraulic. What we're using is an electrically powered hydraulic pump, and the lines will, the lines that are coming from the power unit to the frame are hydraulic lines.
There's a flow divider to make sure that you're getting equal pressure to both of those lines. So that's why when you see it, it's always lifting evenly and it's lowering evenly.
Absolutely, but another common question related to the hydraulic pneumatic, you do not need an air compressor to run it. You can, during your initial setup, there is the air assist cylinder, which requires 50 psi, and that's just part of the.
You charge that to 50 psi in seconds with a little hand pump or a bike pump.
You don't have to have a compressor at all to use QuickJack. Yeah. It is all a self-contained system.
You do that one time, maybe a couple times. You don't have to worry about that very much. It's a very small, zero maintenance part of the setup.
Absolutely. So yeah, the answer is it's hydraulic. We're using an electric pump that's going to drive hydraulic pressure to activate those frames up and down.
Facebook, we have a question.
Yeah.
We have a question from Jorn. Why can't both sides of my QuickJack go up at the same time?
Well, they do.
They should.
We might be misunderstanding the question. He might be asking, why can't you do one side at a time? And if that's the question, then it's because the flow divider is meant to equally pressurize both lines, both frames.
I think he's trying to get them to go both up at the same time.
If you're having difficulty with them lifting,
I think I see.
out of sync, we definitely have some great troubleshooting tips on that. Again, we have a video for that we'll link. But there are some things that you got to check if that's happening. One, make sure that the cylinders have been bled properly. Make sure that you do have that 50 psi in those air assist cylinders. Check out the troubleshooting guide online or in your owner's manual. But those are going to be the first two things to check. Make sure the hydraulic cylinders are properly bled and that the air cylinders are filled with their 50 pounds.
Yeah, and I just want to say, if it's a new system, that's part of the initial setup. Is you're going to be making sure that it's lifting evenly before you put the car on it, so that, like Dave said, you're bleeding the cylinders and you're going through a setup process. So make sure check out that setup video that we have and go through those steps, and then you can contact us if you're still having difficulty.
But they definitely should and will rise 100% evenly as long as they're. Oh, another one for that. Make sure that the power unit breather is open.
Oh, that's true.
So some of the power units have a breather that you actually have to. That's not automatic, that you have to physically unscrew a little bit. Make sure that that's open, because that's another component that could cause that issue. And
before we get to our next Facebook question, thank you for that, by the way. Just remember to stay tuned to the end, because we are going to have that SEMA special, our extension of our SEMA special and Black Friday sale announced. Awesome. Facebook.
Stay tuned. Next question. What's up, Facebook?
So we have a question about the warranty from Joe.
Okay.
He sees that on our warranty page we have a standard 12-month warranty and an optional 24-month warranty. He wants to know what the difference is and how one can take advantage of the optional warranty.
Yeah, absolutely. The difference is when you go to the purchase screen, you will see a drop-down menu, and you can select the 12-month or 24-month. It's literally just a 2-year warranty. So everything will ship you all the parts that are covered under the warranty, if need be. And it'll just cover you for twice the period as the other one. Otherwise, it's the exact same warranty.
That's a really great question, by the way.
Yeah,
it's good information to know.
It's I don't know if we don't talk about it all the time, but it is there on the. You can call in, just ask about it, or you have to select a warranty option during the checkout.
Yeah.
So you will see it if you go online to check it out. So I hope that answers your question.
And we had another question over here.
Yes, specialized performance. Can you leave the jack up and disconnect the hoses if the jack will be up for a long period?
You guys are reading our
I was going to say that these.
Yeah.
We don't need those anymore. All right, absolutely, you can leave it up and disconnect the hydraulic lines. There is one thing to absolutely do, and that is make sure once it's up and locked in place, hold down the down button on the pennant control for at least 5 seconds. You want to depressurize the system. So what's going to happen is, if you don't depressurize the system, pop the quick connect fittings, it is going to be real difficult to get them back together, and can often be kind of a pain.
Especially on the power unit end.
Yeah.
This is kind of maybe a side note, but I kind of recommend, unless you fully depressurize them, do not unplug the power unit side fittings, because those will give you some trouble. I didn't swear.
They're of course, if you do get yourself in a bind where you didn't depressurize, you can obviously get around that. It's going to require you get out some of the tools and be prepared to clean up a little hydraulic fluid or automatic transmission fluid.
To be honest, you depressurize them, and I always, if you were at SEMA, you would see me demoing this all the time. And it's really an impressive, nifty little system when you use it the right way.
Yeah, depressurize, and then take those hoses away. As a matter of fact, it's actually a preferred way to use it. Whenever I use the QuickJack personally, I prefer to disconnect the hydraulic hoses, because it's just stuff out of my way. I can move the power unit, I can move the hoses, put them on the other side of the garage, and I just have more working space. So it's actually not only are you able to, but I think we should we encourage that kind of thing. It's totally viable.
And if you live in a colder climate, or you just want to keep it stored all winter, or whatever it is, store it for a period of time, you can leave it up on the locks for as long as you need to, and you won't get the flat spots on your tires, and it's great for that.
Yeah, leave it up absolutely indefinitely. It'll be totally secure.
Next question? Did we have another question?
All right.
Dave, you got our next one?
Yeah, actually, speaking of cold weather, can I store this in the garage in winter, reaching negative 50 degrees Celsius outside, maybe negative 40 inside my garage? My first tip would be to move.
And fun fact, negative 40 Celsius is the exact same as negative 40 Fahrenheit.
That is kind of fun, isn't it? But to actually answer the question, you can. If you're just storing it and not using it, you absolutely can. You may want to, depending on what hydraulic, and if you're living at cold temperature, you're probably familiar with using different viscosity oils for different temperatures. If you have a warmer temperature oil in there, you may want to drain the tank before storing it, the fluid tank before storing it. If you have already a cold weather hydraulic oil in there, you can go ahead and leave that stored. It is definitely outside the operating temperature of the QuickJack, so don't use the QuickJack in that temperature, but for storage, you should be just fine.
Do you remember the operating temperature? It's in the manual. I wrote it down and I didn't bring my notes. Not bad. I think it's about 20 degrees.
Yeah.
I want to say.
Somewhere
around there, yeah. So just don't, I think around
yeah.
freezing is maybe the operating temperature. I mean, if you're operating a QuickJack in -40 anyway, I have a lot of questions for you.
But, yeah, but yeah, for storage, absolutely. And again, it really is going to depend on what fluid you have in there. And again, if you guys live in colder climates, particularly a place that gets to -40, you probably know all about having different viscosity oils for cold temperature use.
Yes.
Let's take 2 more questions. And then
Okay,
I think we had one more.
Yeah,
though,
do we
right?
have one more question over here?
yeah, 316 Auto Salon. How long can you leave it up? Let's say I'm wrapping for a few days.
Yeah, you can leave it up as long as it's on the locks, as long as you need to. Absolutely, for a wrap, you can store it that way. People do that over the winter, like we just talked about. They cover the car and they just keep it up in the air. So if you're doing it for detailing purposes, professional, other commercial purposes, absolutely. You can leave it up as long as it's on the locks.
Yeah. Say you want to drive a G-Wagon in the winter and you're, I don't know, something fun, an F-Type during the summer, leave your F-Type on all winter long and it's going to be absolutely fine. You can, once it is on those locks, and you can go ahead and disconnect those hydraulic lines, you can just leave it on there indefinitely. It's absolutely no problem.
Thank you for that question.
And did we have another question over here?
We have Terry Waters.
Okay.
Can you mount
Terry.
this on a standard 4-inch concrete floor?
Oh,
That's a good question.
Yeah, absolutely. We actually do have a video on all the types of flooring that you can use, and we can link to that too. All the types of flooring. Basically, you don't need to bolt it down, so you can use it on concrete, asphalt, gravel, really any flat surface that's not going to sink.
Yeah, level is the key. You don't want to have it on a slope, but as long as you're on a hard level surface, you should be good to go.
If you wanted to get technical about the slope, our official recommendation is no more than a 3-degree slope, which is basically level.
Right, it's basically. But yeah, in any concrete surface, you're going to be absolutely fine.
If you drop a tennis, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
If you drop a tennis ball on the ground and it's rolling downhill, it's too steep.
Again, it's portable. It has wheels. The frames have wheels on them, so there is absolutely no drilling required. You're not hard installing this onto any surface. As long as you just have a flat, hard surface, you are good to go.